Aryan Khan has been given a clean chit by the Narcotics Control Bureau in the Cordelia Cruise drugs case. He has not been named in the charge sheet filed by the agency. Wankhede, the NCB officer who led the probe, is now left red-faced. NCB Deputy DG says errors in the first probe was known that Aryan Khan did not take drugs. Aryan Khan, the son of Bollywood superstar Shah Rukh Khan, was arrested in connection with the Mumbai cruise drugs case on the 2nd of October. After several court hearings, lots of drama, 26 long days in custody later, the Bombay High Court granted him bail on the 28th of October. He finally walked out of jail on the 30th.
14 लोगों पर ठोस सबूत मिले, अर्थात ठोस सबूत का मतलब है फिजिकल एविडेंस और सर्कमस्टेंशियल एविडेंस, कोरोबोरेटिंग फिजिकल एविडेंस, और साथ ही उन लोगों पर जिन पर चार्जशीट दाखिल नहीं की जा सकी, उसमें जो प्रारंभिक इन्वेस्टिगेशन था उसमें कुछ कमियां थीं, और इसके आधार पर यह कहा जा सकता है कि अंततः सफिशिएंट एविडेंस नहीं मिला।
क्या जांच में आगे भी इन लोगों के खिलाफ अगर सबूत मिलने पे तो कोई कार्रवाई की जा सकती है? जो 6 लोग हैं,
किसी भी कांड में चार्जशीट दाखिल करना आखिरी पड़ाव नहीं होता। एक तरह का आखिरी पड़ाव जरूर होता है, लेकिन अगर नया एविडेंस कुछ मिले तो कांड में सप्लीमेंट्री चार्जशीट भी दाखिल हो सकती है, इसकी गुंजाइश रहती है।
I am very relieved, and I am sure the young man and his father are equally relieved. It was clear to me from day one, when the matter was heard for bail in the High Court, that there was no material against this young man. He was not in possession of any drugs, and there was no reason why he should have been arrested. I think it was a hasty decision in the heat of the moment, but anyway, the truth has prevailed. It's unfortunate that he spent 25 days in jail, but according to me, now the whole chapter should be treated as closed, and one should look to the future, and that's it.
India Today also spoke to the Deputy DG of the Narcotics Control Bureau, Sanjay Singh.
हमारे इन्वेस्टिगेशन कंप्लीट होने के बाद हमने आउट ऑफ 20 लोग जिनको हमने अरेस्ट किया था इनिशियल इन्वेस्टिगेशन में, उनमें से 20 में से हमने 14 लोगों के खिलाफ हमारे पास प्रमाण हैं, और उनके खिलाफ हम चार्जशीट कर रहे हैं। बाकी 6 लोगों के खिलाफ हम चार्जशीट नहीं कर रहे हैं, उनके खिलाफ सबूत नहीं है।
जो 6 लोग हैं उनमें आर्यन खान का भी नाम है, तो क्या माना जाए कि चार्जशीट में या उनके खिलाफ एविडेंस नहीं मिले, क्यों उनको चार्जशीट में नहीं शामिल किया गया?
उनके खिलाफ सफिशिएंट एविडेंस प्रमाण नहीं हमें मिले। हमने उनको ये हमारे फाइंडिंग में उनके खिलाफ सफिशिएंट एविडेंस नहीं मिल पाया, इसलिए हम कंप्लेंट नहीं, उनके खिलाफ कंप्लेंट नहीं फाइल कर रहे हैं।
शुरुआती जांच में ऐसा बोला गया था कि जो मेन 6 ही नाम आ रहे थे, जिसमें आर्यन खान का भी नाम था। फिर जब दूसरी टीम ने जांच शुरू की, उसके बाद से जो जांच का जो दिशा है वो बदल गई अचानक से, और ये कहा जाने लगा कि आर्यन खान का इसमें रोल नज़र नहीं आता। तो चार्जशीट क्या वही रिफ्लेक्ट कर रही है जो बाद में दूसरी टीम जाँच कर रही थी, जो सामने आ रहा था?
हमारी इन्वेस्टिगेशन जो रही SIT, आपको ये पता होगा कि 6 नवंबर 221 को कॉन्स्टिट्यूट की गई थी, और हमारी जो जांच रही है बिल्कुल एक निष्पक्ष जांच रही है, बिल्कुल ऑब्जेक्टिव हमने काम किया है। और हमने जो प्रिंसिपल एक होता है टच स्टोन ऑफ प्रूफ बियॉन्ड रीजनेबल डाउट, उसको अप्लाई किया है, और इस टच स्टोन पे हमने ये पाया है कि 6 लोगों के खिलाफ हमें सफिशिएंट एविडेंस और प्रमाण नहीं है, तो हमने ये कंक्लूड किया कि हम इनके खिलाफ कंप्लेंट फाइल नहीं करेंगे।
And this is an India Today exclusive. We earlier spoke to the Narcotics Control Bureau officer who had arrested Aryan Khan and led the first probe, which the NCB now calls error-laden. Wankhede in an exclusive conversation with India Today.
Wankhede जी, नारकोटिक्स कंट्रोल ब्यूरो की टीम ने चार्जशीट दाखिल कर दी है। आर्यन को उसमें क्लीन चिट देने की बात कही जा रही है, उसके खिलाफ चार्जशीट दाखिल नहीं हुई है। क्या कहना है आपका? आपने पूरा मामला देखा था।
Sorry, मुझे कुछ नहीं कहना है. No more in NCB. Please have the respected officer.
Wankhede is getting asked more details on that story. Munish, the NCB says that they're looking into what was done by the first probe team. The deputy director coming out and saying that yes, there were loopholes, there were errors. He's pointed out at least 3 of them. Do give us an idea about the special inquiry that the deputy DG of NCB says will be done in this matter.
Yeah, well, Sneha, at this point of time, I am being joined by the person who investigated this entire case, the head of SIT. Sir, I would like to take you some time. Do give us a sense of that. What was the grounds on the basis of which you decided to drop charges against Aryan Khan?
Basic premise that was used against Aryan was that the drug that his friend was carrying was meant for him. But we found in our investigation that his friend stated in his own statement that the drug that he was carrying was not meant for Aryan. In fact, he went on record and said that Aryan had asked him not to carry because Aryan was because the NCB is active. So the basic premise that drug that was found on his friend was is baseless or fallacious. And second is there was no recovery from Aryan Khan. Third, and then when there was no material available to warrant the action to open his mobile or WhatsApp chat, but still it was open, and that mobile phone was never seized formally. Be that as it may, WhatsApp chats, we have looked at those chats very, very closely. We scrutinize them. Those chats do not connect Aryan to this case. Consumption was applied, the charge of consumption was applied against him when he was arrested. But we found in our investigation that no medical examination was done on him to find out whether he has actually consumed drugs or not. So all these and WhatsApp chats, because a lot has been said about WhatsApp chats. I must make it very, very clear that Honorable Supreme Court has said so many times that WhatsApp chats in themselves cannot be considered as evidence or primary evidence. So you need to have some primary evidence for WhatsApp chats to be used as corroborative evidence. So the legality of WhatsApp chat as evidence was always questionable.
Sir, there was a very serious allegations leveled by the previous team of NCB claiming that he might be involved in an international drug syndicate, he might be involved in drug peddling. These were the serious charges leveled when the remand of Aryan Khan was being taken by the previous team. Now, what you are disclosing is something which is very serious in nature. There was no drugs found on him. Do you think it was purposely done by the previous team, or what you found during your investigation, sir?
We have found many irregularities during our investigation. We have taken them on record. Right now, I cannot say whether those things were done with some purpose or with some motive. We have DG NCB has already issued an order asking the vigilance team to look at those irregularities and try to find out whether those irregularities were made with some purpose or with some motive. In case they find some motive, they may recommend and based on their recommendations, DG NCB may take action against the concerned officers.
Before I let you go, so my last question. You recorded a statement of Aryan Khan. When you recorded this statement, he had already spent so many days in jail. What did he tell the NCB officials at that point of time?
We examined Aryan Khan, and his statement was recorded. So we have recorded his statement, and that has also been taken into account while making a final decision that no complaint should be filed against him.
Thank you so much. So, Sneha, as you heard, the person who is the head of SIT, when he investigated this entire case, the initial charges on Aryan Khan were found completely different from what the SIT team found. Now, apart from that, what is really going to be important for Aryan Khan is that when this entire investigation was being conducted, there were serious allegations, but now in the charge sheet, which has been filed by the Narcotics Control Bureau, all the charges have been dropped. The consumption charges, the charges of drug peddling, the charges of whether he might be part of international drug syndicate or not, all these charges have been dropped. So it is going to be a big relief for Aryan Khan, but also the bigger question is, if Aryan Khan was innocent, then why did he spend so many days in jail? That is going to be a bigger question.
Yes.
Whether NCB will take any action against those officials, part of the raid team that conducted raids on Aryan Khan and others, that is going to be something very crucial. Sneha.
All right, Munish, I'm thanking you for the moment. Thanks for getting us all of those details. Manvi Taneja, actor, is also now joining us. Thank you so much for your time, Manvi Taneja. Your reaction to what has happened, not just today, but over the last few months or so, where the NCB, essentially, at least the first probe team, went on to link Aryan Khan to an international drug syndicate. And today has come out and said, look, there was nothing against him, so he's a free man. He's not been charge-sheeted.
First of all, I would like to say it's a big relief for the family and for the Aryan Khan, what he has gone through. It was more than 26 days he was in the jail. Just imagine being a person who is innocent, who has done nothing, and being a jail into a jail, and whatever he was going through. I still remember it was 7 months back, and every channel, everywhere, it was covering up that Aryan is in jail. He had breakfast, and he is a Kedi number. As in everything, whatever was happening to him, and everything was covered by the media, and the people were literally giving a verdict that yes, he has done something wrong. And they, as you said, that everybody was saying that there was a connection. NCB earlier said that there might be a connection just because through the WhatsApp chat from with international drug peddler, and now he has given a clean sheet. Just imagine what he was going through. You have done nothing, and you've been getting blamed, and everybody is saying that yes, you have done something wrong and unnecessary, because just he's a son of a star kid. He was just paying the price of being a son of a star kid. So according to me, let the investigation team do its own work.
There are political parties that have come out and said that this is what the government does, using agencies to settle scores with people, obviously indicating that he was the son of Shah Rukh Khan, and that scores are being settled with Shah Rukh Khan. That was what was being done, is what is being said by a couple of political parties.
No, sir, there was some disturbance with the line. Can you repeat the question, please?
You mean to say the political...
Yeah.
Yes, certain political parties, including the Congress, seem to be suggesting that agencies are being used by the central government to settle scores with those who do not support it. For example, like Shah Rukh Khan. And that's the reason why this agency was used, to settle scores with him.
No, it's a part of an investigation. They really needs to investigate, because initially also there was no recovery from Aryan Khan. So there has to be an investigation that why one agency who were looking into the matter, and then at that time Aryan was taken into custody and was into jail for some days. And now when the second agency is looking up to the matter, they have literally given him a clean sheet. It needs to be investigation that what went wrong. And yes, there were loopholes, as I was hearing the officials before. There was some loopholes in the first part of the agency, because...
Monday, be with us. We'll just come back to you for more on that. Remember, earlier today, we also spoke to the former NCB officer who was investigating this entire matter, Wankhede. Listen in to what he told us when we asked him about how he reacts to the Narcotics Control Bureau today saying that there was no proof against Aryan Khan and hence his name is not there in the charge sheet. Listen in to Wankhede's exclusive conversation with us.
समीर वानखेड़े जी, नारकोटिक्स कंट्रोल ब्यूरो की टीम ने चार्जशीट दाखिल कर दी है। आर्यन को उसमें क्लीन चिट देने की बात कही जा रही है, उसके खिलाफ चार्जशीट दाखिल नहीं हुई है। क्या कहना है आपका? आपने पूरा मामला देखा था।
सॉरी मुझे कुछ नहीं कहना है। नो इन एनसीबी, प्लीज हैव द रिस्पेक्टेड ऑफिस।
समीर वानखेड़े जी, नारकोटिक्स कंट्रोल ब्यूरो की टीम ने चार्जशीट दाखिल कर दी है। आर्यन को उसमें क्लीन चिट देने की बात कही जा रही है, उसके खिलाफ चार्जशीट दाखिल नहीं हुई है। क्या कहना है आपका? आपने पूरा मामला देखा था।
सॉरी मुझे कुछ नहीं कहना है। नो इन एनसीबी, प्लीज हैव द रिस्पेक्टेड ऑफिस।
Pandey continues to be with us. Wankhede extremely embarrassed about what obviously has happened. And now, like Munish, you've been telling us this exclusive information that the centre also would be looking at some sort of action against him for the shoddy probe that was conducted by him in the very beginning. Yes, Munish.
Yeah, well, Sneha, as far as Mr. Sameer Wankhede is concerned, time and again he maintained before the case was transferred to SIT that his investigation is in accordance to law, according to the NDPS manual. But when the allegations were leveled by certain accused, the case was transferred to SIT. And what SIT has found is completely different from what Mr. Sameer Wankhede found in regards to Aryan Khan and 5 other accused. Now, as far as Sameer Wankhede is concerned, now the trouble is...
Munish, we'll just come back to you. Kunika Lal, actor and advocate, is also now joining us. Thank you so much for your time. How do you respond to what has happened today? The NCB says there is no proof against Aryan Khan and that we can't charge sheet him.
Thank you, Sneha, for having me on the show. So I have been saying that from the beginning, from the time he was arrested on October 2nd, while he was in jail, custody, while the hearing was going on, that they have found nothing. There's some, touchstones of the NDPS Act which were not being complied by, and there was no drugs found on him. There was no evidence of any drug trafficking. So there was nothing actually. So it was just, and it was a hyperbole of the whole, all the media was making a big circus out of it, most of the media. And it was absolute targeting of individuals who were a celebrity. My only point here I want to say is, it is very sad. I'm glad that, as Mr. Mukul Rozgi said, that, the NCB has been very decent and professional and they have admitted their mistakes. But what happens to people who do not have Mukul Rozgi Sahab as their advocate, as their counsel? What happens to people what happens to Aryan Khan on the 22 days that he suffered mental torture, his family? Who's going to give that back to him? Is there going to be any reprieve or any reprimand or any kind of action taken against these officers? We never see this happening. We just move on after this, and this has to stop.
Kunika Lal, we spoke earlier with Advocate Mukul Rohagi, and earlier as well, it told us that bail is always a rule and jail an exception. In this case, right in the very beginning, the Narcotics Control Bureau kept on pushing for custodial interrogation of Aryan Khan, which was not required, is what has been said by the lawyers essentially. There was grave injustice to begin with, isn't it, to put a young man behind bars when there was no medical examination done to show that he had consumed narcotics, when the WhatsApp chats did not have any link with him, and also, most importantly, when there were no drugs found on him.
Absolutely, I agree with you. And at that point of time, I think the court should have taken cognizance of all these things. Though, I must say, under the NDPS Act, there is a lot of, there's a big umbrella that covers a lot of things where the investigators take refuge and they say we need further investigation, people are covering their tracks, and the NDPS Act allows certain, they allow certain leeway to the investigators. But this should be looked into seriously, and that if necessary, the law should also be fine-tuned for this, because when there's no evidence, no prima facie evidence, and keeping a person for 22 days in jail, and some people are, they're still probably in jail for other cases under the NDPS Act, and in spite of no evidence, and they don't have any access to a good counsel or to good, lawyers or to money. So it's very sad, and this has to be fine-tuned. and this has to be looked into seriously.
Absolutely. This really appears to be the tip of the iceberg when it comes to many of these people who've been in jail. These are under trial prisoners, and when the cases are pending against them, the courts say that essentially bail should be the rule and jail should always be an exception. Kunika, thank you so much for throwing light on that aspect of this case as well. Thank you so much for sharing your views with us.